at the highest level. It was Casey Stoner before that. Now, I have my previous to 2016 Supertech R on my right, your left. This is the old version. This is the new version. And what you're going to immediately notice, that if you didn't love the style before, you're probably not going to love the style moving forward. This is an iteration and improvement on a boot that already worked really well, keeps a lot of the same product DNA, and really advances it. I'm going to walk you through quick changes here, and then we're going to describe the entire nuance. But remember, the price has gone up a little bit. You're around the $500 mark. There's a vented version, which I have in front of me, which means all these vents are functional to the boot and it's perforated. There's also a non-vented version, and you're getting the full color assortment. And if we look at what's on the table, old version, new version, new version, and I have the inner booty removed from this left side. So again, in the A-Stars line, SMX Plus is the baby brother to this. You're going down about $150. This is the top end. It has the fully protective and removable inner booty design, which eliminates torsion, ventilates, and allows you to really tune it. That's one of the big upgrades you're making here. Now, if we think about the nuance and what has changed in this Supertech R if you're seeing it for the first time compared to the old version. So looking at them side by side, first thing you're going to notice, the toe slider is different. It's now the new style aluminum co-injected toe. It's going to be metallic, it's going to be more protective, it's a nice upgrade over the single compound previous version, and again it has a small screw to allow you to remove and replace it. So that's seated on an area of TPU. What they've also done is re-engineered the shift panel. So the shift panel now on the CE rated boot, which again has great protection, lateral, medial, heel, and toe, the shift panel actually is a little bit more flexible now, and it offers more tactile response. If we move back to the lateral side, you can move back here and you're going to see, again, the full upper on this boot is microfiber. It's synthetic leather. They do that so it's lightweight and it's perfect. Real, true cowhide actually has imperfections in the grain. It's organic. It's cow skin. Going microfiber allows you to have strength, weight reduction, and perfection throughout. And what they've done is they've actually moved away from synthetic here in this accordion panel, which allows ease of entry and external from the lateral side. And what they've done now is they've gone to a rubberized material. It's a rubberized accordion. But my favorite part about this redesign is actually the fact that they've reinforced the TPU where this terminates. So again, wherever you have a termination, you can see where my finger is here on the previous version of the boot, that's a weak point. And again, a lateral slide, especially the most common crash is a low slide or low side, you're going to have contact there. So what they've done is they've beefed it up with a dually stitched TPU, which is really nice. Moving to the back of the boot, you're going to see, again, a handful of other changes. And first thing you're going to notice on the side here is they've redesigned this TPU that wraps around. Now you're getting better coverage. So the full ratchet's been redesigned. It's a new buckle system, but this TPU now raises here, and instead of having, I'm actually going to undo it here, instead of having this connect on the outside, it actually connects on the inside. So your ratchet, your buckle here, which snaps down, now connects on the inside of the boot versus on the outside of the boot. Again, in a low side scenario, you might shear that off, and now you don't have the ability to do it because they've given you an additional slider. You're also going to see that the buckle mechanism has changed on its own, and what you can't see, I'm going to have to turn them like this, is it's actually countersunk differently. So now on my left-hand version here, which is the new version I'm shaking, that has a countersunk ratchet where this side, you can see that silver actually sticks out. So again, they're streamlining things, getting your buckles and releases out of harm's way by redesigning the boot. You can also see up here towards the top, they've redesigned how it all comes together. Now the last major change area is the heel. And you'll notice the heel on this side, now instead of having metallic hard parts, they've gone to TPU, so it's plastic hard parts in both the heel counter, which is replaceable, as well as the side of the heel. And you'll see these vents. The vents are redesigned and made more effective. So on the vented version, they vent directly to the boot. On the non-vented version, they're there for styling. You'll see that in the other non-perf version of this boot. You're also going to see on the front here that the venting carries through. So again, towards the front, they've removed these vents along the side on the old version and going to a more aggressive updated vent style in this shin protector and TPU on the new version. So again, lots and lots of changes here. And there's one change that's actually my favorite of the changes that you really can't see. What they've actually done is they've made the boot more protective by limiting range of motion. So remember, these boots in a crash are meant to move with you when you're not crashing. When you're crashing, keep everything in place. The old version was actually a little bit more flexible than we always expected. We said that could be stiffened up. And what Alpine Stars has done here is they've done two things. The first thing is they've taken the inner booty and they've changed the mechanical mechanism on both sides of the ankle. They've changed the geometry of it and the thickness. So what it does is it provides additional feedback here. So again, it's about 20% stiffer against hyperflexion and hyperextension. So you're getting more front to back resistance, keeping everything in place, and again, creating resistance to absorb shock. The other thing they did, if we look at these panels along the front here, these are TPRs. They're rubberized. The old version was circles. The new version is pentagons. By doing that, you're giving planned compression points. Again, these are going to fold, and these are going to allow it to move with you, and they're going to bend at these corner marks, versus here, a sphere is actually stronger than you would think, and they could all deform in a different way because they were spherical. So again, planned breakpoints on this boot on the right. Now, there's some other nuanced changes we're gonna walk through when we walk through it, but that is really the big change here. It's a lot of micro changes. It's an overhaul to different elements of the boot that will make it more comfortable, more responsive, and ultimately more protective when you're riding it for your local track day, or really if you're a pro racer or racing at the highest level. Same boot that Pedrosa or Marquez or Lorenzo are wearing is going to be the same boot that you would be wearing as well. Now I'm taking the old version, goodbye. We're all done with you. We're happy to move into the light, into New School 2016 and all of these improvements. Now let's talk quickly about fitment. Remember, Alpine Stars makes boots for the American market. It's a huge market for them. So you're gonna see it in American sizes. Use the size chart. Remember, there's a lot of fine tuning here with the ratchet system, with the inner booty design, with the speed laces. Again, you're not gonna have any issue. Use the size chart, read rider reviews. You're gonna get a good chance to understand the fitment. I'm not gonna say it's overly wide, but it's definitely not overly narrow. An average American width foot is gonna be just fine here. Keep that in mind. Remember, we'll ship for free over 39 bucks. What I'd really love it if you would do though is click our logo on your screen, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV, our YouTube channel, leave me your comments, your questions, and your feedback, love it or hate it, on all the new changes and whether you agree with me or not on the Alpine Stars Supertech R moving into 2016. Now, if we look at the boot, there's a lot we haven't covered. Let's walk through some of the nuance. We talked about our toe slider. We talked about our shift panel. Remember, CE rated boot. We talked about microfiber, which is synthetic leather. Remember, this is the vented version, and you're gonna see on this newer version that we've gone to full perforation versus localized punctuation. So the holes got a little smaller, and now they're throughout. Notice, big TPR on the front, on the toe counter, pulling everything together. As we rotate to the side, we talked about the front bellows done in TPR. We talked about the side and the protective element there. Moving into our heel. Remember, Alpine Stars is building you this massive heel and ankle cockpit. So you have massive protection, dual recess stitching along anything that hangs off the side. So you're not going to shred those stitches and have this come apart over time. Remember, we talked about the shift here from a metallic slider into a TPU. And then moving to the back, again, comes up just as high as it ever did. And I missed it when I was walking through the boot side by side, but there's a new stitch panel here. This accordion stretch panel across the back done in synthetic leather. Again, now it gets a more organic pattern. In my opinion, that's just really a style update. But again, thinking about iteration on a boot that already worked really well. Now, I will say this, it's not the most low profile or lightweight boot at this level. If you're gonna spend $400 to $500 and you want something a little more streamlined, and if you want something might be a little bit more lightweight, look at something like the CD Mag 1. That's going to be not as beefy. It's a little more streamlined. I would say it may or may not be as protective, but you're going to save some weight savings, about a quarter pound lighter per boot. I just want to throw that out there. If you're looking at this level, you should be investigating your full range of options and buying what best suits your need. Watch our detail breakdown video there as well. If we look at the interior, again, your Clarino, you have that microfiber, which is going to create some heat shield as well as grip against the bike, be a nice point of interaction here. And we can look at how the interior, the medial side comes together. The other thing before I get into the guts is they did update the midsole here, where it's going to interface with your pegs if you're standing on your pegs. In my opinion, the way I ride, I'm on the balls of my feet on the pegs. So again, updating this area, I'm not sure how much value it really creates there, but again, giving you a different texture, changing the durometer slightly. Again, just iterative improvements as we move forward. Now, if I look at the front, we talked about big shift panel, or big shin plate rather, coming together, wrapping around both sides. This is what they do. Synthetic leather at the top. On the inside of this, it's going to have silicone, which is going to grip against your race suit. So again, you want everything staying in place. And if I open it up, it's not a ratchet. It's not like the monofuse. It actually is just a release, and that's why that release is recessed. Within that counter, it opens up. Remember, connection point on the inside, and here's how you get in and out. Velcro keeps your YKK at the top. Notice that accordion stretch allows for easier zipping and unzipping, because again, a zipper is going to be a stress point here depending on how bulky your shin and foot is. Now, if we open it up, micro perforation on the inside. Again, it's got great wicking material to pull sweat away, and then we expose our inner booty if we push it down like this. So that's your inner booty. It is fully removable. I might as well pull it out and show you how this works. There's my booty, it comes right out, and here's your boot exterior. There's your carcass. I'm gonna put it over here. We spent enough time there for now. Ratchet it back. Now, if we look at the inside, the guts here, remember, the sides, dual hinged to minimize torsion to the knee and minimize twisting. It's going to have a speed lace system. So again, you're going to zip it up, pop it down like that, wrap it, and you're done. It's that simple. There we go. And remember, 3D, it's going to have 3D bubble, 3D mesh, which allows for perspiration, sweat from your feet to work its way out, work its way into the mesh. It's baked into the boot carcass itself, and then again out through the outside of the boot, especially here in the vented version. A little bit of reinforcement at the toe. Notice, behind that slider, you're going to have a TPU there, again for impact protection, and big, beefy TPU all the way around. So at the Achilles, at the heel, along the side, up here along the malleolus, which is the left side, and then again, you have that hinge, which is going to keep the torsion away from your leg, again, minimizing, slowing down rotational forces. If I come to the inside here, you're going to see it as well. Again, basic sole here, this is not meant to be walked around in, and there is some shock absorbing baked into both sides of this boot as well. Remember, for 2016, they didn't do an overhaul, but they changed a lot of things that they can make better based on rider feedback at the pro level all the way down. Alpine Stars does a great job of listening to its riders, to its consumers, and staying close to the evolution within the market. Big fan of what they've done. In all honesty, other than potentially thinking about ways they could make this boot potentially lighter weight moving forward, and maybe taking a more dramatic twist on restyling or making it more aggressive, that's just style preference. Honestly, from a functional side of things, I really don't have a gripe here. The next step in your journey, though, is to click the info button on your screen, desktop or mobile. Visit RevZilla.com, the product page, read other rider reviews,